My name is Saridaki. I'm a researcher at the University of Athens, and I'm also a cultural director of different projects. I work mainly with games and storytelling. For the past 10 years, I've been working with different types of audiences and populations. And I see games and playfulness not only as a product or as a tool, but I see it as a way of life. When we started the project, my first idea is that it was going to be really tricky to discuss issues and meanings that have to do with labor. Because back then we were in the heart of the crisis, of the financial crisis that is still going on. But it was the time that especially the creative sector has been hit very, very bad. Money had been cut. Digital video game studios have been destroyed, people have been laid off. It was a very bad timing for the sector. So I think for University of Athens, for the team that I'm in, but for me personally, that was the bet, that was the interesting part. How could we talk about games in the context of labor in a society in which labor is not only on risk, but it's actually one of the most difficult issues to discuss. Back then, it still is, but back then it was really, really tricky. So specifically because of that difficulty to bring games and labor in Athens close, because it would be difficult to have this type of situations, we decided to put that in the center of our focus, this difficulty. And we decided that we would like to explore with the local game design scene the notion of serious games as a critique. As a mirror of what's going on, as an artistic method of exploring how these designers feel about what they've been doing in daily basis, or what they would love to do, or what they're afraid of that will happen to them regarding their labor situation. Talking specifically about serious games, we could define them very simply as games that from the beginning of their design process, they don't only have a scope of entertainment, but they have another very specific scope. For example, one of the most very well-known serious games genre is the educational games. Others are games for good. Games that they have a specific focus on trying to allow the player to experience social situations and maybe try to think or discuss about the situations. Referring specifically to game jams, that was our main tool, our main the main way that we used in our project. I surely think that they can be a model of working, or at least a model that allows the people that are involved in the game jam to take lessons that they can actually implement in the real labor experience. And by that, I mean that immediately when we enter a game jam, the first thing that we experience is the energy. People are more open to their own skills. They're open to share what they have, their ideas, their passion, the tools, the qualities that they bring. They're open to connect with other people, and they're open to work in different projects. So the moment that we enter a game jam, the first thing that we experience is the energy. When people enter a game jam, the first thing that they do is that they try to open up to the tools that they can share with other people, their quality, their skills, their ideas. The same thing goes in opening up in new connections and new cooperational methods. So, for example, you can be swamping, working very hard and very stressed to create something the last hours of the game jam, but if someone asks for your help, usually you would say, yeah, I will stop what I'm doing and I will see what is your problem. And then if I have another issue, I can ask somebody else from another team, from a different project. This is a work ethos. This is a way of creating, of designing that takes a bit of our ego and our own stressful situation and gives more power to the ecosystem. In a game jam situation, if the ecosystem, the game jam floor is okay, people will have fun, the games will be meaningful, and the memories would be so good that people next time, not only they will like to go to another game jam, but they would like to do more projects and have more experience in that open sense of creativity. I have seen it many times in Athens. I've seen people that they enter the game jam with a completely different mindset, locked, afraid, I don't have skills, I don't know how to design, I've never cooperated with someone, I'm a very difficult person, I'm not creative at all. And I've seen the same people in the end of the game jam being a completely different person, in a completely different mindset. They are open, they're ready to cooperate, they cannot wait for the next jam to happen, or the next meetup, or the next play testing, or the next creative process. So yeah, I totally believe that game jams not only transfer 21st century labor, creative skills, but I think they create an ecosystem of people that they can support one another. So individually talking or community talking, they can give a lot of power to the people because they provide fun, they provide meaning, and most of all, we're not talking about free labor. We're talking about open experiences of co-creativity, and this is always precious for an artist, for a designer. So, for example, we had more than 45 people in the Athenian Game Jam who had different projects. I think all projects were so interesting. I would love to see them finalized. And yet, if we had 3 games finalized and ready to play. These 3 games are completely different from one another. I think they all bring this critical quality because people were ready, the designers, by people I mean the designers, they were ready to pose questions while they were doing their game design. One of them, for example, Demos. It's not a traditional game per se, but it's more of a creative experience that the game designers are able to create and personalize for different communities. And in Demos, we see the inspiration of Demos started from a sex worker in Athens, a historical figure that she used to support the local community. So we're talking about a person that allows people to go through a journey of life and become better. And we can understand how important it is to create something like that in a broken economy. Another game, Agile Nights, which is a fun digital co-op game, it derived from the experience of the designers that they are already working in very stressful projects. So they took Agile methodology and they placed it in a fun way to show what support means in this type of projects. If you do not allow others to support you, you all lose. And the third one, Feel Me Not, it's a game, it seems to be a very fun party game, card game, that talks about issues that sometimes are very difficult to discuss, about flirting in the job space, about harassment, and all the space in between. So all 3 games, even though they're so different, it seems that they brought with them this type of question, quality, community, discussion, empathy, different qualities that you can see in a game jam.